Hey guys, it's been a while since I've posted a painting update, so we're going to check it out here and see what I've gotten done in this last month and a half or 2 months, something like that. I think it's been about that amount of time here. So you can see I got some old projects that I had on my last update, as well as some new ones. So let's take a look at what I have. This is, like I said, this is what I've completed in about the last 60 days. And actually, there's some other stuff too, but I wanted to focus on the most important things and the things that I'm most happy that I have gotten accomplished as of so far. So, Napoleonics. Most of you know I have several Napoleonic projects going on. An 18 millimeter AB project used for GDA. And I have since added another Napoleonic project, a 10 millimeter Pendragon project for ESR. If we go ahead and take a look down here, we have the first chasseurs. Let me get that focus in. Come on. There we go. We have the first chasseurs of the French, obviously. And that is one squadron. So there will be two more squadrons at least, and that will give me the full regiment. Now, if we take a look at this stand here, we have two conversions that we had to do, and that is because these were charging chasseurs, and AB does not make a officer in the charging pose. He actually has his hand down by his side on his the hilt of his sword. So what we had to do is we had to cut off the arm at the shoulder and then file the hand off of the body down below, and then we took another hussar figure and cut his arm off, and his body is now in the trash. Of course, all I needed was his arm, and that gave me the arm that I needed for the officer. Let me see if I can get him in the light there. But you can see there's not much, or if any, line visible on that arm. I don't think it's gonna, there's the focus right there. But that is the officer of the hussars, or excuse me, the chasseurs. And he's all done. The second conversion I had to do is also on this stand, which is AB does not make a standard bearer for the chasseurs. So I took a figure, a chasseur, and I cut his sword off, filed it down, and then drilled a hole in his hand. And then I used a Zeiston wire spear as the flagpole. So that then gave them a standard bearer. And that is the first chasseurs, the first squadron of the first chasseurs, and that's them. The other AB regiment, or excuse me, battalion that I've been working on is, I think these guys are going to be the 47th line, and yeah, so they're greatcoat infantry, very easy to paint up. I would like to do many battalions of these because they're so much simpler than doing the full uniformed infantry, line infantry. The only thing about this is that once again there's another issue with AB. AB does not make the 1908 line infantry in greatcoat elite companies with plumes on their shakos. So I had to cut the plumes off of other miniatures and glue them on here, and that gave the elite companies plumes on their shako. Where those plumes came from, they came from other chasseurs that I will be eventually doing. I haven't painted them up yet, but I believe it's the 13th chasseurs. They have kind of a peach/orange colored facing, and they do not have plumes on their shakos in 1808, 1809. They only have the little pom-poms on their shako. So I cut the plume off of the pom-pom, leaving the pom-pom on the shako, and glued the plumes on top of the shako. and I have enough to do a company of the Voltigeurs and a company of the Grenadiers when I get around to painting them. And since I will be doing 3 squadrons of the 13th Chasseurs, that will give me enough plumes to do 3 battalions of infantry and greatcoat. And then I have to start looking for other regiments of Chasseurs or perhaps even Hussars that didn't have plumes on their shakos, and that will allow me to do even more conversions with them. So anyway, you can see I still need to put grass on those bases. I've only flocked them as of this moment. We do have 1 stand of the 8th Hussars done, and this was a unit that was under Lascelles' command at Aspern-Essling, and I will be doing basically his full command that he was in charge of. It's the 8th Hussars. Who else was it? The 7th Chasseurs, I believe, the 16th Chasseurs, and the 13th Chasseurs, something like that. I can't remember right off the top of my head. Keeping with the 18mm AB for GDA, you can see I've completed several command stands. We have some brigadiers down here to the right. We have a brigadier infantry commander, which he's all done and been varnished and everything, so he's good to go. We have a light cavalry brigadier general. I don't know if we can get the focus in there better. There we go. So that's the brigadier for one of the light cavalry brigades. And we have another brigadier general for the infantry. He needs to be varnished still. And then we have General de Division Nansuti with a carabinier riding alongside him. We have just a regular infantry divisional general with his aide-de-camp there. And then we have another General de Division, Hautpoul, who died at Jena, I believe, in the mass cavalry charge. And he has a cuirassier riding alongside of him. And this was the first leopard skin I had ever painted. I did that quite a while ago, actually, but I think it came out very good for the first attempt at a leopard skin. We have another just generic general of the division, infantry division, that I made with an ADC alongside. And this is actually an officer of the Chasseurs. This is the same miniature I had to convert into this officer right here. So that's the same miniature. So you can see that I had to chop his arm off and file the hand down off his waist, etc. And then I even used a pair of pliers to turn his head more forward. That way, you know, it looks different than this miniature, because I plan on using another one of these miniatures as is to be an officer of the Chasseurs of another squadron that I do. But anyway, so that's him. And let's see, I have Lascelles, general of the division at this point, with his ADC. I like that ADC very much. Came out very colorful. I used a little bit of artistic freedom on him. But that's Lascelles. And that's about it in terms of the 18mm. Like I said, I have completed some other things, but I wanted to touch base on my favorite stuff here. So 10 millimeter Pendragon. You can see here I'm doing these for ESR, and I've decided to go ahead and do 60 millimeter wide bases. And so here is a battalion. Let me get that focus in here real quick. Here is a battalion of line. I believe I haven't written this because I haven't decided, but I think this is going to be the 1st Battalion of the 57th line. And you can see I included the elite companies there on both the flanks of that. So that's what a line battalion looks like. And here is a Leger battalion. This is the 15th Leger. So they did have, in 1809, they had green plumes on their shakos, and the Voltigeur companies had yellow over red plumes, and the Grenadier or Carabinier company had the bearskins. So that is the 15th Leger, and I am also working on the next battalion right there, and then I have some more up there towards the top of the table that I need to get done. But yeah, so that's the 1st Battalion of the 15th Leger. And then we have the 1st Squadron of the 5th Hussars. I almost said Dragoons. You can see they have their white police. Musician has a blue police. Reverse colors on the jacket there. So that's them. And then I have a squadron of the 8th Hussar, which I just finished. And these are also the 8th Hussar in 18 millimeter. So it's the same unit that we're looking at here. So that's them. And that's another question I have about AB, as AB Hussars do not have the police on them. So I don't know what's up with that, because I've always been under the impression that AB were the most historically accurate in terms of uniform sculpting and everything like that, but none of the Hussar on almost any army, I believe, from what I've seen, are wearing a police. So was that really not a thing? I mean, from what I understood, they were worn in combat because they offered additional protection, etc. But I don't know why AB doesn't include that on there. Here is the one squadron of the 16th Chasseurs. You see they have blue facings. And that's them. The flags I'm using for these 10mm Pendragon have come off of war flags. I had to print them out and resize them. The ones that Pendragon sells on their website are just too huge. Here's my 10mm Lassell, Formation Commander, ESR. I need to varnish him up before I continue handling him. And that takes care of pretty much what I've accomplished with my 10mm Pendragon. So now we can take a look at a project that you guys may have seen before, but now it's coming along nice here. So this one is now completely varnished, has its flags, its rigging. You can see this was one of the first ships I did. I got to figure out a way to tighten out the mizzen mast here and make that the rest of the rigging line, the standing rigging line, really taut. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to tighten that mizzen mast up here one way or another. But yeah, so that's just a generic British first rate that I have painted up here. And then I have the third rate right here. This is the Ajax, actually. It's a named ship. Can't really see that. This light that I'm filming in, and now my thumb's in the way there. This is not turning out well. But anyway, so here's the third-rate Ajax, and I think this guy came out really good. I decided I'm not going to do the shrouds and rat lines on the main mast, not with the acetone sheets that Warlord Games supplies for these ships. I'm going to be purchasing brass rat lines and shrouds from a different company, and then I will be adding them onto the ships from there. So I have completed one brig. This brig actually came out with the best rigging I've done so far, and looks pretty good. Pretty happy with the way this brig came out. Small little guy. So that's the brig. I am working on another brig right here. All I really need to do is do the rigging and put the sails on and flags and pennants, and that'll be done. I do have two more third rates that I'm working on. This one is furthest along. You can see not much is done on it here. I just got the basics done. This will be the Colossus, as you can see. And then the other third rate I'm working on, I just have primed and the decking done for the most part. I did the gallery windows as well. This is going to be the Mars. So I'll use a little bit more red probably on the Mars than I would normally in a Royal Navy ship. So yeah, that's my well, it's, you know, Black Seas miniatures. It's not really a Black Seas project because I don't really plan on playing Black Seas. I don't even have the rule book, although I have a ton of Black Seas ships, and I'll be playing a couple different games using those miniatures, including regular open movement games like Fighting Sail by Osprey, as well as converting over a couple board games to use with miniatures like Flying Colors. I'm really excited to do that, actually. Moving along, I also have my 18mm Zeiston project, and my Republican Romans. I have the first unit of Hastati done here, and they all have Pila up in the air. The only thing really that I need to do is I need to get the little round shields that I'll be ordering, and I'm going to put one on that standard bearer there, and that's pretty much it. That's the only thing I need to do with this. Now these are all separate 40 by 40 or 40 by 20 bases, so there's 6 bases to a unit of the Republican Romans, and the movement trays are by Litco. But I'm pretty happy with the way these guys came out here. See if I can turn them around. There we go. So they look good. Pretty solid and steady. And then we have this beast. Still working on this beast. I've managed to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stands done. We still need many, many more. There's going to be 3 rows of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stands. So we need a total of 15 stands for these pikemen. But you can see they are coming out pretty good. I'm very, very satisfied with the way these guys are coming out, actually. They look really great. Can't wait to see the full unit of them put together. So 60 figures to a unit for these guys. And you can see it's a very large unit when compared to the Roman unit. And that is because I won't be always playing with these stands. The larger units compared to the smaller units will be used in games like Hail Caesar. But I also be using these stands, each 40mm stand, individually when I'm playing DBMM, of course. And then if I'm playing a game like Sword and Spear or something like that where all units require equal frontage, well then I'll just start taking off the ends there, and you know, we'll be putting them on stands sabots such as that. So that's it, guys. Oh, I did a command stand for the Macedonians here. Let's see if it's going to focus. Let's see if I can get the focus in there. There we go. So there's a command stand for the Macedonians. It has a trumpeter and a standard bearer. He's just basically a divisional commander for Hail Caesar. And that's it. Sorry about the poor quality of this video. It's mainly due to the light, and I should have put my camera on a tripod. I think that probably would have worked better. Anyway, guys, thanks for checking it out. Feel free to leave a comment or whatever. Tell me how much my painting stinks. Till next time, I'll see you later. Stay safe.